Victor Wembanyama signs his contract extension. Let's react to that. How are the summer Spurs looking? And what are y'all talking about over at the fan comment section over on Spurs in Focus YouTube? Hey, welcome back to another episode of Spurs in Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. Pick a platform. We are there. Substack is completely free. Spurs in Focus Substack. Go search for that right now. Hit subscribe. You are in. And again, completely free. I don't charge anybody. Go sign up today. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, longtime Spurs writer in San Antonio. Glad to have you back. And thank you for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. What are we talking about today? The Wemby contract extension. We haven't had a chance to talk about that. We're going to dive into it. What does it mean for the team this year moving forward? What does it reflect on Wemby? Supposedly, he took a pay cut. We're going to talk about that and more. Get into the summer Spurs. They're still in action. Hey, they finally won a game. Yay. But wins and losses aside, who's standing out so far through the games played? And then get into y'all's comments. Y'all leaving a bunch of comments. We're going to react to them in just a few minutes. And by the way, in case you probably didn't know, you'll probably see it right now. Audio only. Unfortunately, myself and the guests cannot coordinate time to do video, but we could coordinate a time to do audio. So we'll be back to video later this week. Let's go to bring him in. He is back, everybody, after a long hiatus. Mr. Raul Dominguez, the AP Sports. He is on X at Dominguez5. Raul, welcome back. Glad you are back. And how's your summer going?
It's going well. It's going well. Yeah, sorry about that audio only. I'm a little under the weather, actually. So that's why I didn't want to do I couldn't do video, so
we all want to see you snot coming out and rosy cheeks and eyes all fired up.
Yeah,
you feeling better though? Are you all right?
I'm good. Like I said, it's just a I don't know what it is, just a quick bug. So
yeah,
but I'm doing all right though.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm a big nerd in San Antonio. If I had a senzu bean from Dragon Ball Z, I would have given that to you. I would have cured you up like that. Make sure to follow him on X at Dominguez5. Do that right now. Send him his well wishes. Tell him to get better. What better way to do that and make Raul's day than saying, get well, Raul. Do it right now. Raul, the Spurs season is over, obviously, but the summer Spurs are still going. We're going to get into that. But perhaps the biggest recent news is Victor Wembanyama. He officially is staying in San Antonio for a few more years, although the Spurs did not release the length of the contract extension. According to reports, it's a 5-year, which is a multi-year extension, 5 years, according to reports, to keep the All-Star Center in silver and black. Your reaction when the news came out?
Wasn't surprised. I mean, they had been talking about this, and he's always maintained that he doesn't want to go anywhere, that this is his home, that he wanted to remain in San Antonio. He's talked about remaining in San Antonio for his entire career. He talks about how loyalty is very important to him, and family, and how much he loves San Antonio. So it wasn't surprising that he signed. I think all indications, were that he was going to sign. It was just a matter of what the size of the contract was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I was not surprised as well. You knew it was coming. Although Spurs fans were getting nervous. You watch on social media, they're like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? They were getting on the ledge. I talk some fans off the ledge. It's coming. He's not going to leave anywhere. Sure enough, here it is. And deservedly so. Led the Spurs to the NBA Finals last season. Won Defensive Player of the Year. Gets that max rookie scale contract extension. Interesting though, Raul. What do you think about this? He has a player option in the 5th season. What does that mean to you?
To me, it just means just. If he needs to rework his contract in order to possibly get more money or possibly take less money,
right?
And may also just be sort of just something that kind of dangling there, I know that some of the other former Spurs players, would kind of hedge their contract a little bit just to see where they're at a certain point, if they needed to rework a deal or how things are going or what do they need to bring in. I think that's probably it, just kind of, kind of a just in case,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. And perhaps it's going to come in to be key for him down the road because he reportedly left $50 million-ish on the table for the Spurs to use to secure the team's financial future. re-sign current players that are going to be seeing the same thing in a while with their extensions coming up. Again, a 5-year deal, $252 million maximum rookie scale contract extension, according to reports. He got paid and then some. Interesting, though, we talked about this right now, is that he left some money on the table. What do you think about that? Probably in the footsteps of other Spurs greats such as Tim Duncan. I mean, I don't think he gets enough credit for how much money Timmy D left on the table for the Spurs. We saw that with Robinson, Manu. I'm not too sure about Parker. I think Parker as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But again, other past legends have done this. Now Victor's done it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, how lucky are the Spurs? How fortunate are they to not only draft great players, but to draft great people. I mean, Timmy, he could have demanded millions more dollars.
Oh, for sure.
He could have hit the free agency market and got more money. I believe, at the time, through most of his contract, there weren't those deals where, they changed it to where the team that you're currently on can offer you more money than another team. But throughout most of Timmy's career, I think it might have been his entire career, but I may be wrong. I think maybe the last years they changed it. But either way, like, he could have gone somewhere else and gotten a lot more money
for sure.
But with Tim, it never seemed like money was as great a factor as sort of loyalty and being comfortable. And same thing with David. I mean, when David was drafted, he couldn't play for 2 years, so technically he could have gone back in the draft and signed, gotten picked by someone else, but he chose to keep his promise, his stay with the Spurs.
Right.
And then you look at Manu. Manu could have had more money. If he wanted, could have demanded more money. Tony, I think his first contract or two, was a lot, but I think he sort of gave up a little.
On the back end, I think it was. Yeah.
So, like I said, Spurs are really fortunate to have, again, not just great talents, but great people who money isn't everything to them. I mean, even Victor said, I think when someone had asked him, I think about the NBA Cup and them winning, a little bit extra money, he said, it kind of is what it is. I've never been a person that's been about stacking money. So, and he showed that. I mean, not only is he taking less money, but he's doing it because he wants the Spurs to be able to pay his teammates and to also bring in other people. So, I mean, that's just, what more could you want from a franchise player?
Yeah, and for a guy so young still, he's still a kid. People think like he's some sort of 30-year-old, 40-year-old adult. He's still a baby. Yeah. And for him to have that mindset, team first, not just on the court, in this case, off the court with the financial books, is great. It's great to see out of that guy see your screen, number one for the Spurs. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here. This is courtesy of Third Apron, Raul, and you can see here, that's a lot of cash. Hey, Victor, if you're sure it's not about the money, then myself and Raul will definitely take some off your hand, if you don't mind. But look at that. You see the breakdown, everybody. Begins next season. And, yeah, he's getting paid. But, as much as he's getting paid, as you can see on your screen right now, that's got to have some sort of ripple effect on the roster for his teammates. We know that Castle's extension is coming up soon. Harper's is coming up soon. I don't know what's going to happen with Keldon, because Keldon's in his last year of his current contract. Does that help Keldon? I think when his teammates see that, I'm hoping they follow his footsteps. But if not, and they get paid, they owe it to that guy on your screen, Raul. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is really going to help the Spurs also, as far as, whenever Castle negotiates his deal, maybe he'll take a little less money. When Dylan's deal comes up, maybe he'll take a little less money. Devin has a pretty good contract, but probably less than what he should have gotten. Julian wound up signing an extension this year. That was probably part of their ability to sign him for a little bit more. Probably has Wemby's contract probably had impacted that as far as they had a little bit more money to give Julian. But before that, Julian signed what I think it was a 3 or 4 year deal for I think it was a 3 year deal for $3 million per season, which was an absolute bargain.
Absolutely.
NBA contract wise. So I think maybe you'll see other players maybe take a little less money and the fact that we're in Texas and there's no state income tax, I think that helps San Antonio's sort of lower cost of living. I think that helps them as well. And again, like I said, I've never talking to Victor. I don't think that him having millions of dollars to throw around. I don't think that's what motivates him. I mean, I think I think it was his rookie season that he was out car shopping, and I think he went to like a used car lot.
Yeah, he did.
Well, to me, it's just to me, it just seemed like he just sort of enjoys life, and money is something that obviously you need to sort of enjoy some sort of experiences, but that's not his driving force. To me, he just seems almost like a Manu Ginóbili, where he's just very curious about life and wants to explore things, and that doesn't necessarily. While money helps you to be able to maybe enjoy some things or see some sights, but the big thing is just sort of enjoying the experience. So, I think that that's going to be a big factor for obviously it was a big factor for him. And I think that's going to be a big factor for the other players as far as realizing, hey, it's okay to leave a little bit of money, to help other people as well.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been saying the discount basically, but this is the discount. According to reports, for Victor delaying or deferring from the bigger payout, because he could have got one upwards of over 300 million. I think it's 303 million that he could have gotten. But basically, this discount doesn't trigger the Spurs getting close to, I believe it's the luxury tax. Like they can delay it now. So that estimated 50 million for the Spurs over the life of the deal that we showed you a little while ago is going to delay the Spurs from paying the luxury tax, and then it gives them salary cap space to build the contending roster. So that's exactly what this discount did for the Spurs. I mean, it's just great overall. I mean, what a thing for the Spurs. And what I liked about it too is Victor outscooped Shams Charania. Victor released the news first on his Twitter, or his X, I should say, when he said, quote, "Spurs family, I'm here to stay, whatever it takes." And whatever it takes in this situation was not getting the max money that he could have gotten. I mean, again, kudos to Victor and the Spurs. By the way, you see, was it like RC and Brian Wright and Mitch Johnson? They flew to France, man. Yeah. Oh no, I got to fly to France. Not that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, and you could just tell that they just, sort of just happy to see him, and obviously happy to have him sign the contract. But you just sort of feel that warmth. I know Victor's very big about. To me, Victor doesn't seem like the kind of guy that not necessarily. Maybe not choosing. Maybe I'm choosing the wrong words. I'll say Victor's a guy that doesn't trust a lot of people. But as far as that's not the right way to say it. He's the guy that doesn't allow a lot of people into his circle. So, but you can tell that he really loves and trusts the Spurs staff and the owner and that says a lot as far as how he feels about the organization, and obviously he loves Pop. So I think that also had a lot to do with it in the fact that he didn't want to leave his family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and wow, 5 more years. Well, potentially 5 more years. I know that 4th year is an option, but I mean, he'll likely stay. I mean, barring something catastrophic, I don't see Victor leaving even after the 5-year extension, whatnot. But it was interesting. I don't know if you saw this report that some NBA players were not happy with Victor's new contract. Did you hear that?
I didn't see that, but I think every time someone signs at a discount, I think there's always some sort of a little bit of backlash from, I don't know if it's so much from players, it's probably more so from agents. When I was reading a story or a report on Jaylen Brown that I guess when Jaylen signed with Boston initially, he didn't use an agent because he said, well, I'm already slotted into a certain spot. This is how much money I'm supposed to get as a rookie. And so he, didn't use an agent. Supposedly he got some backlash from that. So I think anytime someone doesn't max out and other agents or maybe possibly other players think, oh, you're hurting it for myself, but that's not true. I mean, every year, salaries escalate. Players, get a lot of money. There's players that you see that go, how the heck are they getting that much money? And it's just the way the business works. Good agents get good players. Teams that are in need. So If someone takes, $10 million less, that doesn't mean that another player is going to wind up with, even $5 less than that, or $5 million less than what he gave up. So, it's just the way the NBA works. So,
yeah, exactly. Now, to be a little more clear, basically the NBA Players Association believes that, in this case, say Victor, shouldn't be punished for their success. Basically, what they're trying to say, Raul, is that had Wembanyama taken the max, that would have pushed the Spurs to be financially handcuffed for a while. So they're saying that because Victor was, I didn't say not forced to, but he took a discount that helped the team. I guess what the NBA Players Association is saying, like, he should still get the max, in this case, of $303 million, and he shouldn't be punished, quote unquote, for taking less to help the team. That's where the NBA Players Association is coming from. They're trying to protect their player, in this case Victor, from having to take less. And what do you think about that?
I mean, it's his choice. In the end, it's his choice. You hear about, like I said, we talked about Tim Duncan taking less money, and it didn't impact us. The salary structure. Other players, other power forwards, other big men, still got their multi-million-dollar contracts. So, I guess I kind of understand where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna devalue someone else's contract. I mean, if I'm just gonna throw a name out there, like say if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was just coming into the league right now, he would still be getting millions of dollars, and people wouldn't say, oh, Wemby took $10 million less, so you're going to take $10 million less. They would laugh at the Angels would laugh at him and say, well, we're going to go somewhere else where they're going to pay us. So, it's his choice at the end of the day, and I guess I kind of understand what they're saying, but they also have to take into account the fact that smaller markets, San Antonio, places like that, it's a little tougher for them to get all the money that say New York has, or New York is able to to pull together, with their sponsorships and ticket sales and things like that. I mean, you look at the NBA finals, the difference between the ticket price for a finals game in San Antonio as compared to New York. So, so at the end of the day, like I said, it's a player's choice, and they ought to respect that.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I get what the NBA Players Association is trying to do. Again, they're trying to protect their guy, but look, as you summed up perfectly, it's Victor's decision. He could have demanded the $303 million, and that would have been perfectly fine because that's what he is allowed to do. So that was his decision. I'm pretty sure they'll work something out. As Raul mentioned, they have that 5th year as a player option. That's probably where you might see him recoup some of the money that he left on the table this year in the future. But we shall see. But nevertheless, hey, good news for the Spurs and their future. Wemby is here to stay for at least 5 more years. Yeah. When we get back. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say real quick that the other thing is, from what reports I heard, is if Victor had asked for all that money, Spurs would have given it to him.
For sure.
Without hesitation. But, they said apparently they gave him like different scenarios as far as like we pay this much or that much or this much. Yeah. This is what we can do. So, in the end, they allowed him to, sort of take ownership of what he wanted. And, Victor's always been about building this team, wanting this team to get stronger and get better, and so they allowed him to sort of take ownership, not only of his contract, but also of the team, as far as, this is what we want to do. These are our plans, and I'm sure Victor, was appreciative of that. The fact that, they're sort of including him, rather than just say, hey, take $10 million less, and then, didn't explain why, so they showed it wasn't just about saving money for the franchise. It was about, okay, if you do this, then we can use that $10 million or whatever for another player or to build our roster.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think that's going to be handy for the Spurs when Castle and Harper are due. And because I think they're up next, right? Those are the 2 big players. Yeah.
Castle's up next, and then the year after Dylan.
Harper. Yeah, and the big question is, of course, Keldon, man. He's in his final year, so that's going to be interesting. That's for an old conversation down the road this offseason. Hey, when we get back, let's talk about the summer Spurs how they're looking so far, any standouts. What about the key rookies from this year's class? Some of that coming up next right here on Spurs in Focus.
Secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grey Skull, I subscribe to Spurs in Focus."
Okay, Raul, you're giving the keys to the Thunder Tank. What's the first thing you're doing?
Going down military when they go.
I'm probably gonna get a big bill from the mayor's office. I'm tearing up Commerce Street, man, with those tanks, treads. Man, I asked this the other day. I think the Thunder Tank had to be bigger than the Tumbler, right? Batman's Tumbler with Christian Bale.
Yeah, definitely. I think it did.
Because it was more than just a war machine, man. It was like a transportation as well. They had slots. So, man, the Thunder Tank, man, doesn't get enough love as far as one of the iconic 80s vehicles. Because we think 80s vehicles, at least in the animation world, obviously think of the Transformers because they were vehicles themselves. But, Battle Cat, he was technically a transportation device. The Falcon from Star Wars, but man, the Thunder Tank was such a badass vehicle. Gives me chills just looking at that one. We are back, everybody, right here on Spurs in Focus. By the way, Raul owns the Thunder Tank in San Antonio. He owns one. He just hasn't shown it out yet. He is Raul Dominguez. He is on X Dominguez. Give him a follow and send him well wishes. He's feeling under the weather. Make sure he starts feeling good and getting out of those dark clouds and feeling a lot better. We're talking about your San Antonio Spurs, and although there's no San Antonio Spurs action, at least for a few more months, there is summer Spurs action. Now, the Spurs finally got their first summer win over the Knicks. Yay. We finally beat the Knicks, everybody. The summer Knicks. But nevertheless, again, well, we all know Summer League is not about the win-loss column. It's about how are players looking. Can they contribute to the team, whether that's in San Antonio or Austin? Let's start off with the key rookies from this draft class, and that is we got Jacoby Gillespie, Terrence Reed Jr., and Malik Brown. What are your thoughts on those three rookies so far?
Yeah, I mean, Terrace has looked really good. I think I was looking at he's averaging a double. I think he had like a double, or averaging around a double. Not a lot of points. I think it was 12 or 14 points a game. But that's kind of what you want to see in the summer league. Seeing that double and defensive presence, like whenever he transitions into the regular Spurs. During the regular season, they're not going to expect a lot of points from him. They're not going to, he's not going to be like one of the main offensive threats. At least I don't think he will be. But you need a guy that's going to rebound, defend, and just sort of be a menace, and then also send, screens and being on pick and rolls. So I think he's doing everything that you'd want to see from him. I'm trying to think who else. Obviously, I wish Jaden Acquaintance was healthy enough.
That's a bummer.
Like I think when he gets healthy, I don't think it's a question of if. I think when he gets healthy, I think that's going to be a huge steal in the draft. Because if he had been healthy, a guy that size, with that mobility, that much power, just his defensive presence. Offense needs a little bit of work, but he's just sort of like the Moses Malone in the middle. He's tough to defend. I think he's going to wind up being just a huge steal in the draft when he gets healthy. I mean, I think he's the kind of guy that could again, I see him and I see like a Moses Malone, that type of player.
No, for sure, yeah.
Wish that he was out there, but again, I don't think it's a matter of if he gets healthy. I think it's a matter of when he gets healthy. So I wouldn't be, to me, I'm thinking maybe mid-season when he starts playing regularly. And who else? Malik Brown. I think he's doing a great job just playing his role. I think he's a very, very good defender, which I think puts an interesting twist with the Spurs. I mean, I don't see a lot of playing time with the Spurs available.
Yeah.
So I think Terrace will definitely take some minutes. I don't know about Malik. Probably going to want to see Malik. Down in Austin a lot.
Yeah.
Jacoby, hell of a scorer. Seems like he's a good playmaker as well. He's got the ability to be a great playmaker. But again, like I don't see a lot of minutes. I mean, you got the Aaron, Castle, Julian, Devin. So I just don't know that there are other minutes there for him, but he's got a lot of potential. So, and then of course, Carter went there, and with Carter, man, it's just that young man's got so much talent. And so much
for sure.
I was kind of hoping maybe for the summer league he'd sort of do what Derek did. Remember after Derek's rookie year, he wound up going to the summer league and he just absolutely tore it up. And I think that was the year that that next year was when, or that followed that season, the ensuing season, I believe that's when DeJounte got hurt and he wound up taking over at point guard. He just absolutely, killed it starting for the Spurs. Derek White did. So I was kind of hoping maybe to see that from Carter, him just sort of dominate and impose as well. And I think you're kind of seeing glimpses of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite what I hoped he would be. But with Carter, it just seems like it's more about him just being confident. And I kind of see glimpses on some of the highlights and some of the times I've watched him play where, he's lowering his shoulder and imposing as well. And would love to see more of that because when he does that and then when he jumps in the air, I think Wemby's about one of the only players that could stop him, from getting to the rim, when he goes up. So would like to see more of that and less of him sort of deferring for a pass or maybe like a little short jumper or trying to do a layup. Go in there and dunk it, man.
Dunk it, yeah, exactly. I remember talking to Carter last year, and I asked him, well, you're going to try to dunk on Wemby in practice? He says, I'm going to try. So don't know if that ever happened, though. Probably not. No, actually, I think Carter told me that he did. Like, he said he did barely kind of get him. But without video, as the kids say, Raul, it doesn't count. For me, I think, obviously, we all know Terrence Reed is the one who's likely going to get the burn next season out of the rookies. And he has a good shot at getting some minutes in San Antonio because on paper, they're still kind of thin in the big man department. They have Wemby, obviously. They got Cornette. And then it kind of stops there. Don't know the future of Plumlee in San Antonio, whatnot. So Terrace, if he can just do the dirty work, those are my thoughts when I see him play. He just does dirty work. Get the offensive rebound. So far, that's what has been impressing me the most, his offensive rebounding ability. And look, Raul, we get it. We know it's summer league competition. There's not the level of an NBA game or regular season, but hey, this is the promising things we're liking. And I do like his offensive rebounding. Going back to Malik Brown, though, I think he is what everybody expected him to be, just kind of be a good defender. You're not going to get a lot of him offensively. You're not. And so far, that's panned out. But you're right. It's going to be tough for Gillespie Brown to get minutes in San Antonio.
Yeah.
What do you think about Terrace, though? You think he probably the one who's going to crack some rotation minutes?
Oh, I think he's going to I think he'll wind up sort of like Carter Bryant, that type of minutes, that type of role, maybe the third or fourth guy coming off the bench. And I know people kept talking about, the Spurs need this, the Spurs need that, but I mean, they went to the finals with the roster that they had, and they had big leads on the Knicks, and unfortunately they couldn't hold it. And to me, it was like the biggest thing. The two biggest things they needed was experience and sort of a maturity, and especially postseason maturity, and they got that. I mean, they went all the way to the NBA Finals with this team of led by 22-year-old, and there's 20-year-old, 20-year-old, 18-year-old. So to me, they got the experience. Like you, regardless of whether, obviously, would have been much better if they had won the NBA championship, but they got a whole lot of experience. So that's one thing I thought they lacked was the postseason experience. And then the other thing I thought they lacked, that they kind of showed at times, was having an athletic big man. Like, I love Luke Cornett's games, and but against some of these centers, that were, big men that had some athleticism, it was tough for him, and they wound up playing Wemby a lot of minutes, sort of match up with them. So I think Terrace gives them that ability to put a big man out there, that has some athleticism and some quickness and some some toughness. So I think that just depending on the matchups, I think he'll get again. I think some around similar to the Carter Bryant's minutes. Could wind up more depending on how he does, but
right.
I think Terrace is definitely going to be a rotation player for the Spurs this season, and how that shakes out. Because I mean, if you think about it, they're 9-10 man rotation. They're all back. They're all back.
Yeah, everybody's back. Yeah.
Yeah. So and the guys that may not be back were guys at the end of the bench. Again, you mentioned a Plumlee. Kelly Olynyk. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about those guys, but the people that people were thinking may not be here. We're at the end of the bench. So how Terrace is going to fit into that? Maybe taking minutes away from this person or that person, but I don't see how you don't put him out on the court with the ability he has, and he's not a young rookie. He's 23 years old, I think he is. So
yeah,
and he played 4 years of college, and
absolutely
a great program, with Coach Hurley there at UConn. So and he's got that same sort of dog mentality that Castle has, after going through the Huskies program. So I think Terrace is going to have a rotation spot, and how many minutes he has, I think, depends on who they're playing and sort of how he does. But I think by the end of the season, I think he's going to be, one of the main rotation guys that they have.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm stretching this too far, Raul, but had Quaintance been healthy, and for some miracle the Spurs still were able to get him at what, that 20, I believe, or that at 20, right?
Yeah.
14. My mistake. For some reason, let's just what if it right now. If you were to fall, let's just say Quaintance fell to 14, Spurs took it, and he's 100% healthy. Does that kind of spell the end of Keldon in San Antonio? Because if you play it out, he's probably more impactful down the road than what Keldon is, and Keldon's in a contract year. I don't know.
I just think Keldon is too important to this team, chemistry wise. Sort of the glue guy. I know he's struggling in the postseason. I saw a picture of it. I don't know if it was. I believe it was from the offseason where his arm was kind of in a sling.
Yeah, he had surgery.
Yeah. I don't know how healthy he was in the postseason. Not to make any excuses, but it seemed like he was a little off. But I think that also had to do with, again, what we're talking about as far as the sort of the big athletic men, and they're able to postseason. You're able to play with a little bit more physicality. So I think him having maybe a Terrace Reed to run alongside with, I think that'll help him as well. But I don't know. I think if Jaden could play, part of me sort of wonders, now that I'm thinking, part of me wonders, if they would have signed Tobias Harris.
No, good point. Yep.
Jaden could have stepped into that spot. So, but I don't know. I think who knows what's going to happen with Keldon. I know Keldon loves it here. I know Spurs love him. He's a big glue guy. He's sort of helped bridge this between the old Spurs and then this group. So, contract wise, he may wind up having to take a little less money than he could on the market. So. I don't know. I don't think it necessarily spells an end to Keldon's career, but I think it's gonna be interesting because again, some of his minutes, may go down here because the signing of Tobias and maybe Terrace Reed's ascension and so.
Yeah, and think about this too. I mean, how many more sacrifices is he gonna do for this team? Yeah. How many more can he do? I mean, he went from starter to face of the franchise for a while pre-Wemby. And then to playing alongside Wembley, and then getting down to the sixth man, and then sacrifice after sacrifice. But we'll see. Again, that's for a conversation down the road. But it's good to start thinking about it. Put that in your brain right now, everybody. So there you have it. Yeah. I expect Terrace to get some burn. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him in summer league. Carter Bryant definitely had a great rebound game from game 1 of his summer league debut in 2026. Didn't play too well in that first game, but exploded in that second game versus the Knicks. He had 19 points, a game high. And Gillespie, too, against the Knicks. I like this. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Perfect. but it's going to be tough for him to crack that guard rotation in San Antonio. We shall see. But so far, there hasn't really been like that, diamond in the rough find. Remember from Bryn Forbes to David Jones Garcia, was it a Gary Neal? There really hasn't been that standout there. I thought maybe was that kid named Davis, I believe, RJ Davis.
Yeah.
But he's kind of up and down. So I don't know. I don't really see somebody standing out yet.
Yeah, maybe the fact that the Spurs have such a young, talented roster and a deep roster, maybe that sort of impacted, who came in and because in some years past, when they did have sort of these open spots, it seemed like maybe an undrafted free agent or maybe a guy who didn't quite work out, with this team, 1 or 2 years in, came to Spurs to looking for a spot. Maybe that had a little to do with, with this year's summer league roster. Maybe they weren't able to get as much, the kind of talent that they usually got because, because obviously, players want to go in there and they want to showcase themselves in the summer league, to earn a spot on the roster. But, there's not a lot of spots on the Spurs roster right now.
That's not good. You have any player wanting to crack the San Antonio rotation is going to have to play out of their mind to try to convince the coaching staff that they should get a spot on the main bench. But, I think ultimately you will likely see the 3 rookies from this year's class play a bulk of their season in Austin. We know that as of now, Quinn is likely redshirted for his rookie year. We'll see what happens. Raul expected him maybe to come back a lot sooner. I hope so too. But again, Terrace Reed is a likely candidate to get some burn among the rookie roster. All right, let's take a look at what the Spurs fans are saying over at the Spurs in Focus YouTube page. Again, go subscribe right now. Would love for y'all to do that. Well, Raul, Spurs fans are reacting negatively to the news that came out that the Spurs want a 4th game away from San Antonio. That home away game thing. They have 3 so far. That's the 2 in Austin and then 1 international. And I think they're doing 2 international this year. Well, this coming year is France and England, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they want another one. Well, Spurs fans are reacting to that. And we have one here. It says from Butterfly Lace says, add some more games in Austin, Texas. We are Spurs. So they're all for it. You have another one fan saying, right, because this makes perfect sense. So they're being a little snarky about it there too. Some fans are saying from another one here, Stephen M. E4I says slippery slope. What do you think about that? Have you watched the Bexar County Commissioner's Court discussion with the Spurs attorney? He kept on saying it's just basically what we've already been doing. We're just trying to get that 4th game. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I was a little surprised that they wanted a 4th game. But it does make sense because I believe that they're going to be able to sort of break up the rodeo road trip, I believe. So in a way it makes sense. But, I think that the bigger thing for me is, once they start to move into the new arena, what's going to happen to those games. Like I can't imagine the city of San Antonio agreeing to a couple games in Austin when we spend all this
pretty tough
at the arena. So, and then obviously, they're not going to have the rodeo road trip anymore since, they have their own arena outside of the stock show and rodeo. So they won't have to, shut down February, so that way the stock show can have the Frost Bank. So, I think that's a bigger thing for me is, once the new arena comes into play, if they're going to allow them to have any sort of outside games. And so, Spurs are doing that because they realize, that they need to increase their reach. Not I think a lot of people see it as, trying to build their fan base, but to me, it's more them trying to build their sponsorship base. Trying to get some more money. Austin obviously has a lot of great, and big companies. So, I know they want to attract that type of money in. And then you have, Rio Grande Valley and into Mexico. So, Spurs want to be a regional team, and it makes sense. I mean, you look at the reach that the Lakers have, the Celtics have, the Knicks have. It's because they have the big markets, and they're able to attract fans, throughout the country, throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs want something similar. So I understand them wanting more games, but at the same time, I know it does sort of, penalize the San Antonio fans as well. So
yeah, that's kind of the biggest grind that San Antonio Mayor Jones has, is that, how many more games you want away from here. She's talking about the loss of economic jobs, that those games generate. She was, I don't know, she was being snarky about it. She was like, well, have those other cities chip in for this arena, so you're using them, so put your point in. And then you could technically say Austin fans are doing that, whether they're coming to San Antonio or taking part of Spurs Week in San Antonio. But it's interesting. Yeah. I don't see them going beyond the 4. I mean, they start asking for a 5. What would worry me more, Raul, they say, oh, we want a 5th, let's just say the 4th game, excuse me. And they end up playing like in St. Louis or Nashville. I'll be like, hey, why are you picking those cities?
Yeah.
Why are you picking those cities? What is this, like a tryout? Then I get a little worried. But if they're going to use that one game, let's just say for Corpus, I'm all about that, because Corpus has a lot of Spurs fans. If it's for the Rio Grande Valley, perfect. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think on something like that, I'd love to see them maybe have like a preseason game in one of those cities,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I think that'd be good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the other thing between San Antonio and Austin. I'm still waiting for, city leaders and county and state leaders, on both sides to figure out a way to have some sort of, a railway system or something between the cities. It only makes sense, the way that everything's sort of converging. I see so much development, and whenever I drive up, to Austin or past Austin, it's just all the construction. You see all the new houses, all the new businesses. So, man, we're way past, the need for a sort of railway or some sort of transit system between the cities.
Absolutely, yeah. You hear another comment here from James Macias 2001. He says, like I said before, if that's the case, why build a new arena? I'm a diehard fan, and I'm not okay with this. So Spurs fans are very divided about this, but I don't think Spurs fans should be worried about relocation or flirting with another city. The NBA is going to go through expansion soon, so, and I think the NBA will cool off. And the only way they get is if the whole family says, "No, we're going to sell the team." If they have every right to sell it, it is a business after all.
Yeah, but I don't think the Spurs are going anywhere. I think it's just a matter of them trying to sort of expand their sponsorship base, the money they can get businesses. So, and again, I'm just interested to see once they move into the arena, if they're going to put an end to that the Austin games.
Yeah, exactly. And, a lot of Spurs fans also on the Spurs and Focus YouTube site, they're obviously reacting. That's the biggest reaction so far, is this 4th game. Seems on this end of at least Spurs and Focus the show, it's a lot of fans are, they don't like it. But, I'm assuming, Raul, once the arena is built, likely no more rodeo road trip, right? It's got to stop.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely stopping, because once the new arena is built, and, because once the new arena is built, the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is taking over the Frostbank Center. That's going to be theirs. They're going to run it. So I know they're from what I understand, they're talking about having sort of like a kind of what the Fort Worth has, with the
the year-round rodeo.
Yeah, sort of the making that sort of a kind of where I'm looking for, sort of stock shows and place where I guess a lot of different events, farming events and things like that, and livestock events will happen. So that's what I think they're talking about having there. And then of course Spurs will run the near arena, so they won't have to. There won't be any sort of events like the stock show and rodeo, so they'll be able to, there's no more rodeo road trip. They'll be able just to plan out the season, because it's only going to be them, because they're going to be the only ones, that are going to have the first ride on everything. So
yeah, exactly. Well, there you have it. That's what everybody's talking about over at the Spurs and Focus YouTube site, is that 4th game. So go ahead and leave your comments. What do you think about that? Are you okay with it? You're not okay with that? Are you getting mixed signals from the boyfriend, the girlfriend, like, hey, what do you want this for? What's going on here? Let us know how you feel about that. Or I know it's the off season. How's everything going at the AP?
Yeah, just kind of quiet. On my end, the AP writers are busy with the World Cup. I know the Tim Reynolds who came down and covered the finals, did the main reporting on the NBA finals for the Associated Press. I know he's real busy because he's in Miami and with everything going on with the World Cup. So just kind of a downtime for San Antonio end, but a lot of great sports going on right now. I'm loving watching the World Cup. So
me too.
I feel I turned on the TV wanting to watch another World Cup game. There's not one I think until Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah, they get to be further spread apart because the tournament. Yeah.
So, but yeah, just sort of waiting for the September, October to come around for the Spurs gear back up.
Absolutely. You still got summer league role. There's still that. Can keep the potential future of the Spurs roster and then some. But did you see Malachi Branham? Remember him? He's with the Cavs summer league team as well as Riley Minix. So
yeah. Is it Malachi? I always liked Malachi's game. Is it?
Me too.
Just seemed like he just didn't have. I don't know if confidence is the right word, but he just but man, like when he started getting on the heater, man, he was a great offensive threat. He sort of reminded me of like a Ron Brewer type.
Yeah.
The old Spurs guy who just could heat up in a few seconds, and have these outrageous games. So I'm hoping that now that Malachi's back in Ohio, that he does well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, good luck to him. And yeah, I mean, I know it's a long off season, everybody. I get it. But hey, it could have been longer. Spurs could not have been in the finals. There's that. That would have been tragic. The Spurs season ended at 82, and then we're like, oh, this off season never ends. We're what, weeks in? But no, here we are. So thankfully, the Spurs had a deep postseason run, and that gives the off season kind of a shorter vibe, a shorter feel to it. Ro, as always, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here at Spurs in Focus and get better. Get better. Yeah, I know what it is. Feel like to be sick, man. It is the pits, man.
Yeah, in the summer it's bad when it's in the summer. You start feeling bad in the summer.
Yeah. I remember right before the summer, I had this, what I thought was like this massive, just a bad cold. That's all I thought it was. And I remember going to the primary doctor for a checkup. Kind of after the fact, after I wrote out the biggest portion of the storm of that cold, and then she tells me, "Oh, we checked you out. No, you didn't have a cold. You had bronchitis, and you should have came in." I was like, "What?" Yeah. I was like, "Oh," and she was like getting mad at me. She's like, "You should have came in, and we could have stopped this with the antibiotics." I go, "I thought it was just a regular cold. I just write it out." She goes, "No, young man, you had a good one. You had a good one in you." So ended up giving me antibiotics regardless, just to clean me out. But by the way, Raul, Father Time is undefeated. I went to get my eyes checked, and they said, "Yeah, you can't put off the delay anymore. No, you're gonna have to wear glasses already, buddy." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I pretend I don't need it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I could do it. What is it? Father Time, whatever. Get out of my way, Father Time. I got you here. By the way, Raul, we'll be seeing you down Military Drive in the Thunder Tank, so just be careful, okay? Yeah.
I'll be picking up some Spurs fans along the way. So
there you go. Here you go. Raul, thank you again for joining us here at Spurs in Focus. Everybody else, we thank you all for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Come here every day, every second, every week for your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. We are on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. You also got Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music. Go pick a platform. We are there. The Substack, Spurs in Focus Substack is completely free. Sign up today. Go do that right now. We'll be back on Wednesday as the Spurs off-season continues. Well, the summer Spurs, we'll probably catch up on those guys, see how they're doing. So for Mr. Raul Dominguez, I am Jeff Garcia. Yeah, well, as always, now you're in focus with Spurs in Focus.